What's on, movie fans? Miaza 3K here with a haul video. So, where did I go? I went to Cleveland, or Strongsville, really. That's normally where they hold the Cinema Wasteland convention, the horror drive-in cult movie convention, and that goes on twice a year. But then in between that, there's another small convention. That's he just calls it a collectibles show. So it's really just a smaller version of Cinema Wasteland. In this case, it is just one room. It's just one dealer's room full of people. And this is the first time going to that little show. Then this is in December. So I was a little disappointed when I first saw it because it was just that one room, and it was kind of small, but it really was nice. Actually, it turned out to be really nice because well, I don't know if it's because of the pandemic or whatever. I don't know what the normal attendance to these little shows are, but there were fewer people, and there were dealers that were more private people selling their own things, which you may or may not like, but sometimes it's cool. and it gave you more time, you know. It's like there's fewer people crowding around you, trying to get in front of you, and you know, just getting in your way. You know, so I got a really good chance to look at Ken's posters, and yeah, got a really good look at those, and so I can pick out what I might want to buy in the future that he has. And you got a good look around of and you got enough time to go and look around, you know, under the table, on the tables, and see what's going on and see what people have. And it's more of a, there were more people there that were just sort of not in the business of dealing these things, but just collectors, you know, looking to get rid of some of their stuff. And so this is, yeah, but overall, yeah, it was a cool show. So yeah, I actually got quite a few things. So anyway, this is the haul of that. Let me scoot over here. One guy had a said he worked at a music store in the 90s, so bought a couple of posters off of him. This is a Tori Amos, The Venus and Back poster. So I'm a big fan of her. And bought a movie poster. He had a movie poster there. So this would have been sent to that store in promotion of its soundtrack, because sometimes the movies are put out and they're hoping to sell more soundtracks than tickets to the movies sometimes. Anyway, this is for a movie called Singles. It's one of those things where you know how when there's a movie comes out and then another company puts out another movie that's just like it. So this was one of those movies. This was Singles, and then the other movie was called Reality Bites at the time. And that's what I liked about this one. Came from Warner Brothers, and what I liked about Warner Brothers, I used to work in a video section of a supermarket, and what was nice about Warner Brothers is that they would send you actual movie posters. So that's really super cool, and that's what this ended up being. So, a couple of posters, and here we get into we're getting into the naughty stuff. And I just picked this up. It's just for shits and giggles. And it's called porn. Okay? Oh, that's it. That's it. We have Scoundrels. I don't know. It is Hustler's all-time highest rating, $1 million seller. Winner, Best Adult Picture of the Year and Best Director. The Hottest Lie You Ever Had. Filmed in Cecil Vision. Cecil Howard's The Scoundrels. And I don't know, I just thought the girl on the cover was super cute. Picked it up. And nice, the old big box thing, and it's got Ron Jeremy and Sharon Mitchell in it as well. And it looks kind of wacky from those pictures on the back. That. Find a place to put these. I got Star version, which is Hustler's 1979 Picture of the Year, starring Kerry Clark. Obviously, it's probably just a porn version of Star Wars, I'm guessing. So I don't quite remember if I've ever seen it or not. So that is that. And it's got an original sticker on it. These things were pretty expensive back then, but I did not pay that much for it. We have Sex World, and this is, as it says at the top here, Westworld was for children, Future World was for teenagers, but Sex World is definitely for adults. So that's what it is. It's a taking those movies and just taking it one step further, which they kind of suggested in the movies anyway, and even more so in the current HBO series. So the current HBO series is, in case you didn't know, was based off of some movies in the 70s. So, and they're taking Westworld and Future World and those ideas and kind of meshing them together into one big series plot, and then throwing the old cable TV trope of TNA on top of that. So it's kind of like all those three movies kind of mixed together for that HBO show. This is Vampire Strangler. Strangler? Is that right? Yep, Strangler. I mean, if you're a vampire, you want to strangle people, right? Of course. That's what vampires do, right? Anyway. Anyway, I think this is a short, really. This is Misty Monday, also known as Erin Brown. She and her group of people would, and this was in the 90s, early 2000s, they would make special order videos, people would email them, give them money, say, here's a plot line, here's what I want to see, and act it out. And they would make a bunch of videos on that note. and that later evolved into seduction cinema. And so Misty Monday went on to star in many made-for-video, super cheesy TNA features. And this is one of the ones that I think it's just a short. I think it's just a short, so it didn't really make it onto any official videotape. So the one guy had a table there full of stuff that they're either just dubs of old VHS things that just didn't make it to DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that. And that actually reminds me that Sex World actually did come out on Blu-ray recently from Vinegar Syndrome. So, and I heard one reviewer say it's barely worth watching, but I don't know. I'll check it out anyway. All right, that's the end of the porn, but this sounds like a porn, but it's not. Lucky Stiff. I remember seeing this on the shelf at the video store often, but I never got around to picking it up. So, it's directed by Anthony Perkins, who you know from the Psycho movies, and the writer of The Naked Gun. So it's just kind of a dark comedy. It looks like according to the back, he meets a girl, and her family is descended from the Donner Party. So he maybe end up in the hot seat later, you know. Check that out. All right, moving on to, and those are DVDRs, these little ones, yeah. So let's move on to real DVDs here. We have Getaway, modern movie, 2019, yeah, 2019. Scout Taylor Thompson, or sorry, Compton is in it, and just looks pretty cool. It's looks like a girl in the backwoods kind of survival tale. So I picked that up. I haven't watched it yet, and I can't wait to see that. The Stupids. You don't see this very often at second-hand stores. I picked it up, so that's why I got it. I really like the movie. It's funny. It's funny. It's like, if you like literally stupid, corny humor. That's directed by John Landis. So it's funny. It's funny. You probably saw it on cable already, really, but hey, I want to get the disc, so. So I got The Hitchhiker. Speaking of HBO series, this one is an HBO series from the 80s. The Hitchhiker is an anthology series where the Hitchhiker would introduce, a la Rod Serling, he would introduce the tale of the week, usually involving murder and sex, all those fun things. So, and this one I have to check. It says the complete collection, and I have to double check that. This one happens to be 12.5 hours. It says, so that would be like 25 episodes. So I gotta double check if that's the whole thing or not, because I could have sworn I've seen other season 1, season 2 discs out there somewhere. But I have to double check that, and that was a good show. That was a good show. I got Company of Wolves. This is directed by Neil Jordan, who also did The Crying Game and Interview with a Vampire. And it's an interesting movie. it starts out in modern and then goes into a fairy tale kind of world. It's a take on Little Red Riding Hood, and if you like, it's kind of like Labyrinth, but it's got the pacing and tone of The Hunger with the cool music to it as well. So it's really interesting, really neat. This has not been on disc for 20 years. It hasn't been released, not in America anyway. I don't see any Blu-ray of it coming out. You know, what gives? I mean, this is a pan and scan DVD. This needs to be upgraded. Somebody needs to get on that one. All right, let's move on to Blu Rays. Return of the Living Dead. This is the MGM version. I'm sure some other company out there put a collectible version of it out there, but this is good enough for me right now. So somebody told me that there was a song that was cut from the DVD, and that's why this movie was in moratorium for a very long time, years. And a lot of people were bootlegging the tape, they were bootlegging the Laserdisc, and some people still have that because they want that little snippet of an original song in the movie. So, but then I heard later that if you switch it to the French soundtrack, you can hear that song in it. But sort of, I don't know. I haven't checked that out yet. So, and I don't have the DVD. I've just got the Blu-ray now. So, let's find out. We'll find out later, actually. Have fun storming the castle. Alright, here we have the Phantom of the Paradise. It is a rock and roll fantasy. It's a cross between Phantom of the Opera and Faust. About a music writer, and he gets involved with the manager, and the manager's made a deal with the devil, blah, 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 and there's a singer he falls in love with, and all kinds of craziness there. But it's a very, very strange movie, directed by Brian De Palma, early 1970s. It's, you either like it or you hate it. I don't know. It's just, I love it because it's in that realm of Jesus Christ Superstar, Rocky Horror, that kind of thing. It's just it's pure fantasy. It's just crazy. And of course you haven't lived until you've seen a love scene with Paul Williams, of course. And it's just pretty awesome. He sold his soul for rock and roll. And 2 more Blu-rays I got. They are night movies. Night of the Creeps. This is the 80s version of Sliver. I hope I got that right. Sliver, right? These little worm-like creatures run around and they jump into your mouth and take over your brain. But it's a body snatchers kind of thing, only they don't have an agenda. They just kind of turn you into a zombie. And it's a really cool movie. This one's directed by Fred Decker. So, cult classic. And again, another movie that was in moratorium for forever. Really cool movie. So Night of the Creeps, Slugs, and Sliver would be your, and Squirm would be your wormy quadra feature. The other Night movie, Night of a Comet, is a post-apocalyptic tale. A comet passes over, as they theorize in Night of the Living Dead, and for the fans anyway, and but everybody who's exposed to it just turns into a pile of dust, and they just kind of, and there's a few people left, and they're either dying or they might survive, and this is the tale of two teenage girls and how they deal with the apocalypse. So it's a really cool movie. It's one, Tom Eberhardt, who wrote and directed that one. And let's see, this one has Catherine Mary Stewart in it, and Kelly Maroney. So these, that one's Columbia. These MGM ones, that one's Shout. This one's, I was curious about these MGM titles, really, because I heard MGM was bought by Amazon. So I'm really wondering if we'll ever see anything MGM on a physical release again. So, and they go out of print from these. If they're put out by a boutique label, they might go out of print, and they may already be out of print from MGM. I don't know. I don't know what they'll do with the Bond movies. They may have moved over to Sony. But as for MGM titles, I don't know. We'll have to see. Those might be streaming from now on. I don't know. We shall see. But anyway, that is what I got at the Cinema Wasteland Collectibles show in December. It was a fun time, got a lot of stuff, and keep watching those movies, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.